But I'm really just twisting it. But I have right about down. I know, right? Okay. So. She's supposed to. No,
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to our annual Obon service. Obon is often associated with hot weather, although we seem to be having great weather today. Food, dance, and church bazaars. But this is a time of reflection where we can remember those who have passed before us and their countless sacrifices they made for our benefit. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Reverend Harry Briggs from the Zeus Church of Oakland. Welcome, Sensei. And let's start today's service with the Sambujo, which is on the front cover or in the front cover of the service book, and it will be followed by the Aspiration Hill of Pomon by Reverend Shaw.
Yogakumo dedication. On this occasion of the Buddhist Church of Stockton's Obon and Hatsubon service, we have gathered to receive the Dharma in the presence of Amida Buddha, the embodiment of great wisdom and compassion. In this moment of meditation, we remember our loved ones and friends in the Dharma who have returned to the Pure Land to the Buddha from the time of this last Obon to this Obon. They are Mr. Dennis Hajime Nagai, Ms. Cindy Kamiko Hidagawa, Mrs. Wakaku Matsuura Kono, Mr. George Hiroshi Hidagawa, Mr. Karl Toshio Yamada, Mr. Takashi Tak Hamamoto, Mr. Tom Noboru Hidagawa, Mrs. Nobuko Masai, Mr. Alan Shigeru Kuboyama, Mrs. Yukie Sugi, Mr. Randy Masato Rito, Mrs. Jeanette Fujie Mizuno, and Mr. Sam Isamu Tanaka. We realize in the cherished memories of those we love and have lost, the impermanence of all the world is revealed. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the flowers offered remind us of the delicate truth of life's impermanence. And may the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Amida's light of wisdom that dispels the darkness of selfishness. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namah.
We'll now continue on with our service with the lighting of the Hatsubon lantern.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this very special Obon and Hatsubon service. With the assistance of the minister's assistant, Kay Freeman, I would like to read off the names of our friends in the Dharma who have passed away during this Hatsubon season. And when your family member's name is called, we'll have one representative to light the candle from Kay, who will be assisting, but your family members may follow behind you to offer incense as well, and stand while you light the lantern for your blessing. And when the name of your loved one is called, please come forward. Mr. Dennis Haji Nagai, Shaku Bikisho, to live with strength. Ms. Cindy Kamiko Kitagawa, Shaku Hooshin, bountiful heart. Mrs. Wakako Matsuda Kono, Shaku Ninichi, enduring sunshine. Mr. George Hiroshi Kitagawa, Kin Sei-in Shaku Ryodo, to give is golden, and to practice the path. Mr. Karl Toshio Yamada, Shaku Myo Gyoku, bright gem. Mr. Takashi Hamamoto. Mr. Tom Noboru Kitagawa, Shaku Zenyo, Virtuous Wisdom. Mrs. Nobuko Masai, Shaku Hokyo, Treasure Teachings. Mr. Alan Shigeru Kuroyama, Shaku Dokyo, to guide with the teachings. Mrs. Yukie Sugi, Shaku Ninshin, a heart that endures. Mr. Randy Masato Ryuto, Shaku Shoki, to brighten with joy. Mrs. Jeanette Fujie Mizuno, Shaku Seiyo, pure sunshine. Mr. Sam Isamu Tanaka, thank you.
Next, we'll have suture chanting, song that's there in the service book, page 82. During this time, if any family members, Hatsubon family members would like to come up and offer incense again, or friends of the Hatsubon family, please feel welcome to do that at this time. We'll now have incense offering by the following representatives. Dharma School student Jimmy Dutton. Dharma School teacher Mike Shibata. Sangha Club Taiga Matsumoto. Young Buddhist Association Casey Hamamoto. Young Adult Buddhist Association, Bell Kota. Do we have a representative from the youth athletic organization? Dr. John Hughes. Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. Tomono Kai, Peggy Takahashi. Stockton Bukyo Taiko, Chris Kubo. Stockton Kendo Dojo, George Fuji. Stockton Buddhist Women's Association, Darlene Daisha. Cortez Holakai, Dan Kubo. And the Buddhist Church of Stockton, Candy Hayashi. Thank you, everyone. Next, I'd like to call on Darlene Dangshaw and Reverend Candace to tell us about the new Gotha book and the dedication.
Good morning, everyone. Great. I have an exciting dedication to introduce to you. Well, exciting if you play music, and even more exciting when people sing robustly when you play. This is an addition to our service book, so graciously provided by Henry and Alice Hirata. Well, prior to the interruption of the pandemic, the Northwest District put together a collection of new gathas. Well, it's purely a collection of gathas, both tried and true, and very new. The Northwest District dedicated this collection to the contributing composers and lyricists, especially the early Jodo Shinshu pioneers who settled in the United States. I encourage you to read their dedication to learn more about how this book is compiled. Well, once we learned about this new collection of gathas, we thought it would be nice to be able to bring in and share not only the new gathas, but also many traditional gathas that have been translated from the original Japanese to English. Ondok-san 2 on page 107 is a prime example. I always wondered what I was singing. But anything of value costs money. We do our best to stick to our budget, which really didn't have room for new Gotha books. All of us are very fortunate to have an individual who supports our Sangha, always seeking out a valued way to support something new. Russell Kakihiro was approached with the idea of purchasing the new Gotha books. He asked how much, and when he learned the cost, he covered the entire amount. We purchased 400 books. He, not wanting the spotlight, please refer to the dedication on the inside cover of the book. He wanted this book to be dedicated in memory of his mother, Elsie Kakihiro, from all of her grandchildren. I only knew Elsie for a short time compared to many of you, but I do recall her as a very outgoing, very welcoming, always wanted to embrace new Sangha members with tremendous warmth. A friend noted her great personality, her generosity, and being very friendly and talkative. There is a song in this book titled Living Gratefully, which states, kindness to every living thing, showing gratitude, loving all our friends and family, showing thanks for all they do. We are extremely grateful for Russell's generosity and reminding us about those kind and loving people to whom we hold so much gratitude. Although Russell could not join us as he spends much of his time in Orange County, I hope we can all sing with remembrance of Elsie's vigor for life and gratitude for Russell's generosity. So now we call upon Reverend Candace Shibata to recite the Obon to dedicate our Gotha book.
Will you please join me in Gasho as we dedicate this new Gotha book. The members of the Buddhist Church of Stockton have gathered together today to dedicate our new Gotha books for the purpose of deepening our awareness of the Buddhist teachings. May these new Gotha books encourage us to use our voices as one, to express our sincere gratitude for the Buddha Dharma and to all things and beings which make our lives possible. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Nam.
Our first Gotha will be Obon Obon, it's Festival Day. The Gotha book, page 103, also included in this program, followed by 3 treasures, which is found in the service book on page 2.
The streets are lined with our lanterns gay, and the windmills swing atop the trees. Sway to and fro,
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One? Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of variance of culpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Our guest speaker today is Reverend Harry Bridge. Sensei is the resident minister of the Buddhist Church of Obon. He spent his youth in both the United States and Japan, encountered Buddhism during college, and went on to study Jodo Shinshu Buddhism at the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California, and Ryokoku University in Kyoto, Japan. In addition to being a temple minister, he also teaches at the Institute of Buddhist Studies and is currently the chairperson of the Buddhist Churches of America Ministers Association. He enjoys music, both listening and creating, and loves cats, though he is currently taking a break from being a cat servant. However, Sensei, I have a very high maintenance cat at home who might like living in Oakland in case you're interested. So, anyway, please welcome Reverend Harry Bridge.
No. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, my clock says 7:45, so that means I can talk for 3 hours. Just kidding. Thank you very much for having me here for this Obon service and Hatsubon service. Today, I'd like to talk about, in general, some Buddhist values, in addition to talking about Obon. So one aspect of Buddhist values that I was thinking of, just kind of thinking about being back here in Stockton, I haven't been here for a while. I've spoken here kind of many times, maybe 3, 4, 5 times over the past, 10, 15 years. But one of our Buddhist values or Buddhist concepts is impermanence. And so much has changed since the last time I spoke here. We had a pandemic. My hair grew at least 10 times, if not 20 times. This is actually the first time I'm talking with my hair down, so you're lucky. And climate change, right? Things have changed so much. I've lived in the Bay Area, East Bay, Berkeley, Oakland for 25 years on and off. And the past 5 or 6 years have been awful, right? So we've really seen so many changes, and impermanence is one way we can understand. But the way I'd like to approach this topic of Buddhist values is with an acronym. You know what acronyms are? We have so many in BCA. There's one, Buddhist Churches of America, right? I'm from BCO, Buddhist Church of Oakland. CBE, Center for Buddhist Education, IBS, Institute of Buddhist Studies. But the acronym I like, that I've been using kind of a lot, is AKA. You've heard that, I think, right? AKA. So the name I was given by my parents, and I recently found my birth certificate, which I haven't seen maybe ever, was Harry Pearlton Bridge III. That's my real name, right? But I'm Harry Pearlton Bridge III, AKA Gilkil, or Reverend Harry Gilkil Bridge, AKA Hieronymus. That's my music name, right? So AKA means also known as, right? That's what we usually think of. So if you look at the program on the front, we're doing the Obon service, AKA Kangi E, AKA Gathering of Joy. And it's a story of someone named Mahamadhyayana, AKA Mogalana, AKA Mokuda. Right? So this is a very, I've used it 3 times already. It's 9 times, 3 times 3, right? Also known as, it's a way to kind of acknowledge, right, that there's other names that we can use, right? And so it's kind of neat how, the Obon service, but it's also this Kangi E that we'll talk about later. And then if we think about, okay, what's Kangi E? I would read it Kangai if I was in English, right? But it's a Japanese term and it means gathering of joy. So, there's different ways that we can think about this stuff. Sometimes it's translation, sometimes it's just another name, sometimes maybe it's related, like, so for me, Reverend Harry, right, when I've got my robes on and everything and talking to you, I'm Reverend Harry. But when I'm playing my bass on YouTube or wherever, then I'm Hieronymus, right? So I can have different names kind of depending on the context. Now, the Obon story is interesting, right? I'll just really briefly, I'll use Mogalana, because that was in the song, right? Like Mogalana many, many years ago, right? So Mogalana was one of Shakyamuni Buddha's most powerful disciples. And he had these kind of psychic or even magical powers, right? And so he liked to go visit the other realms, the different realms. You don't hear about that stuff much these days, but there's an idea in Buddhism that it's not only the human realm. We see the human realm and we see the animal realm, right, with all the kitty cats around, which I love visiting. But there's also heavenly realm, hungry ghost realm, hell realms, right? And so Mogalana was good at going to those different realms. He could kind of travel to them, and he talked to people. He tried and teach people, try and get people to get closer to enlightenment. And then one time, after his mother passed away, he went to try and find her, and he figured, oh yeah, my mom, she'll be in heaven. And so he goes up to heaven, he searches everywhere and can't find her. And so he searches through the various realms, and depending on the versions that they have, she might be found in the hungry ghost realm or even in the hell realms, right? And so he's shocked. He didn't know a lot of the stuff his mom did. Actually, his mom was pretty mean, but he didn't realize that. So he thought she was, of course, she's going to be in a good realm. And so he tries to, right? He's the highest in mystical powers, but he can't save her by himself. Can't do it no matter how hard he tries. So he asks the Buddha, what should I do? Right? And Buddha says, well, give a feast for all the monks, right? Do something not for yourself, not for your own family, your own side, but give. Right? And by this act of giving to the monks, his mother is reborn and saved. So that's the story. And actually, when he realizes this, sees this, leaps for joy. He jumps up and down, he's so happy. So he leaps in the air with joy. So that's the story that is kind of the background for Obon, our service, for even the Bon Modori, right, the Obon dance. And so with that in mind, let's go back to AKA, okay? So AKA, I'm using here as an acronym, not for, also known as, but for what I consider some core Buddhist values: awareness, kindness, and appreciation. Okay, awareness, kindness, and appreciation. Awareness, I'll just really quick, you can get more detail. I've been talking about this a lot the past couple of years, so you can look on the Buddhist Church of Oakland YouTube site and look at some of my Dharma talks, and you can get, more when I talk about that stuff. But for now, awareness, I think we know what that means, right? We know what the word means. It could be like mindfulness, right? We hear about mindfulness, right? Mindful breathing, mindful eating, mindfulness of my emotions, my emotional state, maybe, right? Mindfulness of myself. trying to be aware of myself. A lot of times I'm judging others, I'm looking at others, complaining, right? And so that's easy. I can complain about other people, no problem. You should have heard me driving over here this morning. Right? I try to not talk so much, but sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Why did I'm like judging others, but to see myself, to be aware of myself, not easy. Harder than it sounds. Right? So awareness of myself, but it could also be awareness of Buddha and Buddha's teaching. Right? And maybe that's even one way we could understand Namo Amida Butsu as Nembutsu, mindfulness of the Buddha, trying to remember Buddha in the midst of my daily life. So that's awareness. Kindness, that one sounds pretty easy too, right? But not so easy always to actually be kind to others. But to me, that's one of the core values of Buddhism. Kindness, friendliness, compassion, that these are our ideals of how to behave. And as obvious as it might seem, if you look at the news or watch TV or go on the internet, there's a lot of the opposite of kindness. Right? There's a lot of selfishness, there's a lot of meanness out there. Right? There's war, there's taking advantage of people, exploitation. Right? And so remembering kindness, right? Remembering kindness and compassion as core values for us as Buddhists. And then the third one is appreciation. Appreciation, which often I think we think of as gratitude. Right? So maybe it's another word for gratitude. But I think also one of my favorite things, and just real quick, my favorite class in elementary school was music appreciation. That's a different kind of appreciation, huh? It means understanding, right? To appreciate the gravity of the situation, right? It means I get it, I understand, right? But I think that appreciation, that gratitude is often tied to that understanding. So what's the acronym again? AKA, right? Awareness, kindness, and appreciation. So in terms of the Obon story, that's where I want to do something different. So you're not going to get this online. This is the first time I'm doing this. I thought of it last night. Okay. So another aspect of Obon comes from the word Urabon with Obon, aka Urabon, which is a Chinese term for aka also known as Ulambana. It's either Pali or Sanskrit, this Indian term. Right? So Obon is the term we use here in the States a lot, but in Japan you'll see Urabon sometimes. Right? And this Urabon, this Ulambana, one way they understood it in China was being hung upside down. Right? Being hung from your feet upside down. And so the way I've learned to understand this is that that's how we view the world. I think I know everything. I think I'm right. Right? I think I've got it. No, my view is inverted. My view so often is not the way things are. It's the way I think it is. And yet, often it's not like that. Right? So an awareness that my view may not be correct. An awareness that maybe I'm seeing things upside down. Maybe I'm not seeing things right. Right? That maybe I'm stuck in my own head, stuck with tunnel vision, however we want to see it, stuck with lenses that are colored differently than it actually is. Right? And so an awareness, I think, that, maybe the way I'm seeing things is not necessarily the way it is. It doesn't mean I'm 100% wrong. But if I think I'm 100% right, then that's probably not true. Right? So this awareness, right, that this inverted view. Now kindness is interesting, right? Because in the Obon story, like I told you, when we talk about the Obon story, one thing I've done is to think about which character do you identify? Right? I only gave you a really brief version, but if you read the Obon story, right, of Moggallana and his mother and Buddha, which character do you just naturally identify with? And I think it's probably Moggallana. For me, for most of the time, it was Moggallana, right? And I would want to do the best for my family, right? I would want the best for my mother, and I'm going to try my hardest, right? So I think normally we identify with Moggallana. But it's interesting if we realize that you learn about Moggallana's mother, right? And that she was kind of mean. She tricked monks. Moggallana was leaving one day, but monks were coming. So he said, Mom, give them the best food. Set out a little feast for them. right? Because I can't be here. So she said, oh, yeah, I'll do that. So when they came, she just gave them a little bit and sent them on their way. Right? She didn't do what her son asked, and she didn't treat the monks with respect. Right? So this aspect of Moggallana's mother as not a wonderful, kind person. And so it's interesting if you can find yourself there. I think it's interesting if, and I've done that over the years, and more so as time goes on. Right? That I can see myself more rather than feeling just and right and vindicated, right? To realize, oh, wait a second, was I being selfish there? Right? I was talking to another minister the other day and complaining about one of our senior ministers who's since retired and everything, and I realized later, wow, it's like I pretty much felt like, yeah, I was justified in complaining about this guy, not a Northern District minister. But to realize, wow, but still my ego allows me to say stuff like that and be like, oh, I could be like that too, but this guy, come on, quit complaining, quit blah, 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 that I can just do that so easily. I can criticize someone else and judge someone else so easily and even feel justified doing it. That, to see that, right, I think is one aspect of kindness. And you're like, wait, what do you mean kindness? Well, to realize when I'm not kind. Right? To realize when I'm not being kind, I think is significant. It's one thing to try and be kind. I think that's good. And I think we should cultivate kindness, friendliness, right? But it's a lot harder, I think, to realize, oh, that wasn't kind at all. Whether it's to another person, whether it's to a family member, whether it's to an animal. That's one of the things I don't like about golden chain. Do you recite golden chain here? Right? I will be kind and gentle to every living thing. I'm not vegetarian, so I can't do that. If I'm going to be kind and gentle to every living thing, I got to stop eating meat instantly, right? Because eating meat is not kind. They're living beings, right? In Buddhism, remember the 6 realms? Buddhism, all beings are equal, not just humans. So it's being able to see, wow, I've not been kind, right? To me, is one part of this Obon story. Now I'd like to, I'm not going to end. I have 2.5 more hours. No, but I think appreciation is my favorite of these 3. And appreciation, like I said, right, that it's partly gratitude, but also partly understanding. And I think that appreciation is really important and relevant for Obon, Hatsubon. We have a lot of Hatsubon families today. And so I really think that that's part of what this special holiday, this special gathering, whether it's here at Obon service, Hatsubon, or Bon Odori, right, the Obon dance, right, is related to appreciation. It's appreciation. Understanding where I come from. Right? Understanding when we lose someone, especially. Wow, understanding not just my perspective, not just me, but thinking about that. Thinking about the difficulties they faced in life. Thinking about how much I received from this person. And this appreciation, right? I think a lot of times, one example I used recently, we started doing this furikake Chex Mix at Oakland. One of my members makes furikake, right? But furikake, right? Let's say it in English or Japanese. Furikake Chex Mix. Have you had that? Right? It's like Chex Mix, but it has like furikake in it, right? And so one of my members makes that and gives it to us like every year, and it's delicious. It's like, all right, furikake Chex Mix. I'll eat the whole thing in one sitting, right? But this year we decided to make it. So, but I didn't realize that. And I go in the kitchen and there's all this stuff on the kitchen table in the church, Buddhist Church of Oakland, right? And I was like, wow, I'm going to give you the recipe here. There's bugles, honeycomb cereal, 2 kinds of Chex, weight Chex and rice Chex, right? Pretzels, whether it's a stick or the little tie thing, right? But then there's also like oil and sugar and probably salt and a little bit of shoyu, Right? So all these ingredients, I had no idea. I'm just wolfing down the checks. I'm not even really like, I'm kind of like, yeah, honeycomb, right? Then I'm like, oh, I like the honeycomb. Right? I used to eat honeycomb as a kid. Then I find out my member sits there making it. It's like, oh my gosh, you gotta mix the oil and get all that stuff so it's liquid. And then you put all the stuff out and you pour that stuff all over it, right? And then you have to cook it for an hour. But not just cook it for an hour in the oven. You gotta take it out every 15 minutes and flip it over so it doesn't burn on one side. Right? Wow, I had no idea. Now that I know, I appreciate it more. Right? Now that I realize, wow, so much effort went into the chestnuts. So I haven't been given any yet, but we'll see. Am I just gonna wolf it down? Probably, right? And yet, I think actually I'll understand, now that I understand the effort that my member puts in, right, that I bet it tastes better. Honestly, you know, when you realize, wow, so much effort, right, so much love went into this. So that appreciation, that's partly what this Obon and Hatsubon is about. Thinking about our loved ones who have passed away, right? Thinking about those who came before, who made our life possible. Right? Realizing, wow, it's not just me. It's not just because of my effort that I'm up here. I'm up here talking to you because of so many people. And that's another Buddhist value, right? Recognizing causes and conditions. So I just want to call out a couple. Of course, when I was here before, it was when Hasegawa Sensei was the minister, right? I remember sitting up here chanting with him, and I remember covering for him. He was away, I think, right? But it's also Reverend David Matsumoto, right? He was here too. He's going to be my guest speaker next week at Oakland. Right? He was one of my teachers. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Reverend Seigen Yamaoka, right? He was my mentor when I was a student. When I did my internship at Oakland, and I took over from him in 2009 when he retired, and still he would come. And, this Wagisa actually he and Shigeko gave me back when I was a student, right? So that's partly why I wore it, right? Because so meaningful. So having this appreciation of the causes and conditions that make my life possible, right? Having this appreciation for, right, its causes and conditions that make it possible for me to be alive for this moment, and for all of us. So that leads to the last value that I'd like to talk about, Buddhist value, and it's one that if you just go online, maybe you won't find it, but it's joy. Joy. A lot of people that don't know about Buddhism say that Buddhism is pessimistic, right? Pope John Paul II called it pessimistic religion. He has no clue. Right? It's a religion, joy. But it's not just joy like happiness versus sad. I think a lot of times in our dualistic samsaric world, we think, oh, don't be sad, just be happy. Go spend some money, right? Or just watch TV or something. Don't think about what makes you sad, just be happy. Right? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about deep joy. And also, I think I call it deep joy and gratitude. It encompasses all those feelings. It encompasses the feelings of loss, especially if you're a Hatsubon family. You may still be feeling sadness, loss, kind of emptiness, whether it was recent loss or within the past year, it could be a year ago. Still, you may be feeling it's okay. That's part of this deep joy and gratitude. We also may have wonderful memories and realize so much, right? We almost want to celebrate this person that passed. Wonderful, it's fine. Right? We can laugh, we can cry, right? We can have all these different emotions. I think they're all wrapped up in this deep joy and gratitude. And partly why I'm saying joy is because kangi, that's what kangi is. Kangi is a Japanese, kind of a Buddhist technical term, I think, meaning joy, right? Meaning this deep joy and gratitude. And so I think that's partly where the Bonodori comes from, right? The Obon dance, that cut just like Mogalana. We can leap and dance with joy. Even if we've lost someone this past year, we can still express this deep joy and gratitude. This joy also is an aspect of our Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, Shinjin. Shinjin, or the entrusting mind. Right? That it's not all this stuff, the AKA, trying to be aware, trying to be kind, trying to have appreciation. Right? I think those are things that we can do. Right? We should try and cultivate them. But it's not always easy. And very often we just forget. Right? Forget to be aware. Right? Can you even be aware that you weren't aware? Right? You start to, whoa, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch YouTube. Watch YouTube, just get lost in it, right? Are we being aware? Probably not. Maybe it's okay, right? But ultimately, I think that this awareness, kindness, and appreciation is awakening. And it's not just me. It's awakening us from the power of the Buddha, Amida Buddha. Right? It's Amida Buddha's great wisdom and compassion, which is what the awareness and kindness are kind of aiming towards. That awakens in us this deep joy and gratitude. So I want to really thank you very much for having me for your special Obon and Hatsubon service. It's really wonderful to see you all. Why don't we conclude with Gashi? Trying to cultivate awareness and kindness in our lives, may we deepen our appreciation, our gratitude and awareness of all the causes and conditions that make our life possible. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo. I forgot something. So can I do this introduction of the next kata? Right, we're doing Obon no Uta. There's another way to remember AKA. Tombo no tombo yo tombo aka tombo. Aka, red. AKA, it means red in Japanese. Right? So aka tombo is a red dragonfly. So this is a great song. It's a wonderful song. It's kind of melancholy lyric, melody. Right? But just realize it's not Shinshu. Right? It talks about the spirits of our departed ones coming from far away for only this special time. Obon. But that's a more general Japanese understanding. This is in case you read the lyrics and get confused. It's because in Shinshu, our loved ones are with us always. They've become Buddhas. Right? They've been born in the Pure Land and they're Buddha now, teaching us. Not in the forms we knew before, but still with us. I've heard this from other ministers, right? This idea that our loved ones, they're not far away, they're not at the grave, they're not in some underworld or some heaven, right? They've been born in the Pure Land, so now they're Buddha. So just realize that for us, Obon doesn't mean that our loved ones have come back just for this special time. We'll say goodbye until next year, right? They're always with you. So thank you. It's still a nice one. That's why I brought the book.
Thank you, Reverend Bridge. Please rise for Obon no Uta in the Gotha book, page 102, also included in this program.
she
Please be seated. Grammar school teachers are unique individuals. They make the time to be here at church each week to help our children and teens learn about the teachings of the Buddha. They are teachers, role models, mentors. They do more than to just be here on a weekly basis. They hold positions within the Dharma School organization. They hold offices at the regional level and within the BCA. They provide input into Dharma School curriculum, and they are leaders within the Buddhist Church of Stockton. I have the honor of recognizing 3 such individuals today. Combined, they have given 115 years of service to the church. As I call your name, please come up to be recognized for your achievements and receive a small token of our appreciation from Reverend Candace. Candy Hayashi. In addition to being a Dharma school teacher, Candy is the current president of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. She is a delegate to the NC District Council and a BCA delegate for the National Council and Board. She serves on the BCS Board of Trustees and has been the past Vice President of Religious Education. Today, we recognize and are grateful to Candy for 35 years as a Dharma school teacher. Thank you, Candy. Tad Shibata. Tad has been a longtime advisor for the Sangha Club and treasurer for the Dharma School. For numerous years, he served as president for the Federation of Dharma School Teachers League and is a past president of the BCS. He is the current treasurer of the Northern California Dharma School Teachers League and serves on the board of trustees for the Buddhist Church of Stockton. Today, we recognize and appreciate Tad for 40 years as a Dharma school teacher. I should have mentioned that Tad is also Reverend Candace's dad.
That's why he gets
Darlene Bagshaw. We all know Darlene as our longtime organist. She's here almost every week and often for services performed outside of the regular Sunday services. She is the YBA advisor, a Federation of Dharma School Teachers League board member, the BCA recording secretary, and serves on various BCA committees and subcommittees. Darlene is the current vice president of special events for the Buddhist Church of Stockton and serves on the board of trustees. She's been president and held other offices within various affiliated organizations here at the church. We recognize and thank Darlene for 40 years of service as a Dharma school teacher. Can we do a group picture with the three Donna school teachers? Sorry, I should have stayed. Thank you to all three of you. I was once a Donna school teacher. It's not easy. I have a few announcements. Save the date, next Saturday, I hope you all know, August the 5th, we are celebrating the Taste of Obon. It's our first in-person bazaar that we've had in the last 3 years. Raffle prizes are being requested and would be greatly appreciated if any of you have some time and you'd like to help and volunteer at some of the various booths and food preparation. We would also greatly appreciate that. Obon t-shirts are available. Carrie is out in the foyer. And they're also available in the front office and will be available in the information booth on the day of the bazaar. Dharma School resumes on September the 10th. Silent Club continues collection of aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles. Donations may be left by the white bin under the carport. Help keep recyclable bottles and cans out of our landfills while supporting one of our youth organizations. I'd like to acknowledge an anonymous donor for the fruit and vegetable offering you see up here on the altar. Thank you so much. We appreciate that as well. Please join us for light refreshments in the mini chapel immediately following this service. I'd also like to remind everybody that on August the 26th, we are having a workshop, a Northern California workshop called, and it's in conjunction with the Buddhist Church of Gardena organization called Chini. It's called Engaging with the Compassion of Amida Buddha's Vow. And that is on August the 26th. The signups are available online, or you can, I imagine that you can also call the church office. But come support the church in Northern California at this workshop. And lastly, I need to read this. There's a joint 850th and 800th joint celebration commemorating the birthday of Shinran Shani and the anniversary of the establishment of Joshin Buddhism. The Northern California District Temples are cordially inviting us to attend this joint service on October the 8th at 10 a.m. at the Buddhist Church of Sacramento. So you can also see the flyer and get information in the karma. So are there any other announcements? If not, please observe good etiquette and come forward and offer incense if you haven't already, and don't forget to stop by the mini chapel for some light refreshments. Thank you so much for coming. There's great attendance today.
Of our Hatsubon families, please feel free to take the lantern shade home with you today.
Hello. Hey. Very good.
Thank you very much. Nice, sir. Well, nice, kindness, appreciate.
Yes.
Try not to forget. How are you?
Alex. And go ahead and end it.
Good to see you. First time known here. I'm so.
And end the live stream. Just click on that live stream and end it. I need to know how to end the live stream.